In this video, I'm going to show you how I transformed this vintage piece into this beautiful chest of drawers using Sweet Pickins milk paint and Iron Orchid Designs Toile transfer. Let's talk about milk paint. I haven't done a milk paint video in a while, and I don't want you to miss the fact that milk paint is one of the original forms of paint. It's found in ancient paintings and caves, and it is absolutely awesome. It's food safe, and it comes in a bag in powder form. When you purchase pieces, you just never know what they have been through, and this piece has been through a lot. It had the top sliced and it was caving and it had different levels, and it looks like it maybe had been fixed at one point, but it had the varnish was cracking, inside was very dirty, had a lot of cobwebs and maybe spider eggs, just a whole bunch of nastiness, and it needed a lot of cleaning. So I vacuumed it and I cleaned it up really well. As you can see, it has a lot of texture and the crackle finish, which I really didn't want to hide. If you want to hide this, you could go ahead and sand it all the way. You could even see the varnish strips. This wasn't going to matter to me. The drawers were nice and big, but they were dirty and they needed a lot of cleaning. I think there was mouse poop in this one. It was pretty nasty. First things first, we need to sand down the boards so that they could be level. I'm using an 80 grit on my orbital sander. Next, I took Durham's putty powder and I mixed it with water and I applied it with my putty knife. You can make this as thick or as thin as you want to, but you will want to sand it down as quickly as possible once it's dried. This is what it looks like as it's drying. You don't want to sand it before it dries. Sweet Pickins milk paint comes in a variety of colors. This is a pint-sized bag, and depending on your ratio, usually you do 1-to-1 ratio, will depend on how far it will go and how many coats that you have to do. So I want you to go to my website, lisaboondesigns.com, and check out all of the beautiful colors that are available to you. And don't forget, you can mix to create your own color. You can mix the powders 1-to-1, 1-to-50%. You can do 3 different colors, 4 colors. You can make your own milk paint color. You could also take the DIY paint making powders and add to the milk paint to create a different shade, a different tone. There's so much fun to be had with milk paint. And milk paint gives you a nice, smooth finish, butter soft. I'm using Sweet Pickins milk paint in flour sack. I've showed before on other videos. You can check my tutorials on how to mix milk paint. It's just a 1-to-1 ratio. I did not use extra bond in this. I did put a little bit of salt wash because I wanted some texture, and you can see that there's texture on here. It's also part of the milk paint consistency because I didn't use my immersion blender to mix it. Those big pieces can be sanded down. So sometimes when you go to refurnish a piece, it's not easy. Things happen, they're a wreck, and it kind of reminds me of ourselves. We are a wreck, we're broken and we're in disrepair, and we need someone to come in and fix us up, and that's what Jesus does for us. And I really look at furniture, remodeling and renovating and painting as a spiritual thing. And I like to pray. I've talked about this before. As I'm painting a piece and creating it for what it's going to be used for whoever it's going to be used for, I do like to pray over my pieces because I feel like God can use that piece in some way to spark someone and to remind them of who they are in Christ and how he fashioned them and he knew them. And when you see the before and afters, the transformations are just incredible. And this one is one of those pieces where it really is an incredible transformation. And even though this piece doesn't look brand new, and it shouldn't, it's not brand new. It's got scars, it's got dents, it's got some roughness around the edges, and I created it with texture and salt wash because I wasn't trying to mask what it had been through, but it is now a new creation and can be used afresh and anew, and someone is going to love this piece. It is available in the store where I sell all of my products and all of my furniture at Now and Then. If you're ever local, I would love for you to come and visit me. It's 575 McCoy Avenue, but all of my links and all of the details can be found in the description below. Have you ever struggled in renovating a piece of furniture? This one was a hot mess. It was frustrating. It took me through several days and retrying and redoing until I could get it just right. Sometimes it's not easy, and that's okay. The process is worth it. We learn through the process. We learn through the trials and the tribulations. It's just like us in a spiritual sense. We grow stronger. We shine brightly, and we become more beautiful because of the process. And so you just have to trust the process.
You can see all of the texture, but you can also see bleed through. You could leave the bleed through if you wanted to, but what I did was I went ahead and I sealed it with Zinsser shellac. After I sealed it and I got it all covered up, 2 coats. Shellac is a great non-toxic way to seal furniture. I went ahead and I applied another coat, a thinner coat of flour sack over that so that I could get it covered up. And if a few pieces show through, it's okay because I am using the Toile IOD transfer to put on top of it, and it would really mask a lot of it. I could have left it, but I just didn't like that yellow tone with the gray, and there was a lot of it. The drawers were really nasty. After cleaning them really well, I went ahead and I mixed a watered down solution of Dark and Decrepit, and I sealed it.
What's really cool, if you didn't know, you can actually apply IOD transfers directly to the milk paint. Now when I have a lot of texture on a piece like this one that I'm going to be showing you, I like to go ahead and seal it. And I did seal it with Sweet Pickins top coat, which is a matte finish. I love it. It's so easy to use and it dries super fast.
This particular one has a repeating pattern, and so you're going to want to match your patterns up. I laid them all out before I started, and I made sure that everything was going to work, and I slowly started taking off the sections. The first time I did it, I didn't leave all the drawers together. I butted them up together, and I went ahead and I applied the first sheet. Everything went well.
It's a beautiful world out there. Just don't pass on the dare. If you have the will and a moment to spare, it's a beautiful world out there. It's a beautiful world out there.
But it is an old piece and it wasn't necessarily straight. So before I do my second piece, I went ahead and I cut out a little piece of the backing and I just burnished it down. I had a little trouble lining it all up correctly. I didn't want there to be a gap. If there are gaps, you could always fill it in with paint. I just went ahead and I cut out what I needed for that drawer, and I just did it in sections from there on out just because of the alignment issue that I was experiencing. Once you get it lined up, then it's easy. You just burnish it on.
It's a beautiful world out there. It can be a bit frightening, something you don't know. You need a little enlightening, it'll make you grow. It's a beautiful world out there. Just don't pass on the dare. If you have the will and a moment to spare, it's a beautiful world out there.
I want you to tell me in the comments, have you ever tried milk paint, and have you tried Sweet Pickins milk paint? Let me know in the comments what you thought about milk paint. I know there's a learning curve, and so I want to just remove the doubt and fear that you might have in using milk paint. I know chalk style paints are easy to use, ready to go right out of the jar, and you can start painting. Although there is a little bit of a learning curve using DIY paint because of the thick texture, the high pigment, it's a little bit different, and I have lots of tutorials on that, so please go ahead and look at my playlist. I have different playlists. I have one for milk paint, one for DIY paint, one for IOD, one for decoupage. And I also have a playlist called Christ in Crafting that I invite you to look at. I did a few videos with some of my friends, and some of the videos are on their website, so you'll just want to follow the playlist to look at all of the things that we created. They're not only just for Christmas, but they're great ideas that you can incorporate for your gift giving or for home decor.
I'll sing until my lungs give out, you're beautiful.
So I hope that you enjoyed it. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you like this content, and if you want to see future videos of restorations and trash to treasures and thrift flips, I welcome you to join me in this process and in this journey. I hope that you have an incredibly blessed day. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me and ask.